Good afternoon on what is a cool, grey and cloudy day. It is Thursday, June 6th, and I'm in the reading Nook with a nice hot cup of tea. And a package to unbox, so let's have a look. And what I've got here is Codename Warlord, Volume 1, Commando Presents. Now, I did an unboxing of a comic book strip published on the pages of Battle called Hellman of Hammerforce recently. And somebody said to me down in the comments, said, you should check this out. They basically also said they'd also picked this up. And I went, that looks interesting. I'll go and have a look. It's not one that I actually remember from the time, basically from when I was a child, whereas I do remember sort of like lots of the kind of the Commando Presents comic strips. In 1974, Warlord was launched, bringing a weekly anthology of action and adventure to comic readers across the UK and further afield. Amongst the most popular strips were starred Lord Peter Flint, Codename Warlord. The eponymous character continued to thrill readers every week until the comic ceased publication in 1986, after an incredible 627 issues. Then in 2019, Britain's top secret agent returned in the pages of a legendary long-running Commando comic. These most recent adventures are collected here alongside the first 6 issues of the classic Warlord comics as DC Thomson's Heritage Comics and Commando Presents Codename Warlord Volume 1. The wartime Starlight Pimpernel is back. Nazis beware. A defecting German professor is in need of rescue. A plan to build the biggest Führer-class warship of all time is uncovered. Though branded a coward, there can only be one man for the job. Flint, Lord Peter Flint, Codename Warlord. Over 170 pages of action-packed comic artwork, and a behind-the-scenes look at the iconic colour covers and spreads that featured in the legendary Warlord. And I said, yeah, this is part of the Heritage Comics series. And which actually wasn't what I was aware of. What I was aware of is the Treasury of British Comics, which Rebellion publishes with a lot of really fantastic comic book stories from really sort of like the 70s and 80s, some also 60s as well, that have been out of print for decades. It's absolutely fantastic to see back in print. I really do, So, on that recommendation from having a look at this, having a look at Hellman of Hammerforce, I thought I'd pick this up. And I mean, the other thing to bear in mind is it says, you've got a character called Peter Flint. What I automatically think of that is I think of the James Coburn pair of films, Armand Flint, sort of parodied the James Bond films. So you've got that kind of thing in the back of your head, I think, if you're going to be reading this. So here we go. There's the frontispiece, and you've got an introduction, 50 years of Warlord, of Codename Warlord, and you have some of the. I don't know if these are the new or the old covers. I think these. And then you've got a bit of in-game kind of introduction there, in setting introduction there with by Peter Flint before you get into the comic strip itself. And I reckon that this actually sort of produced in this. I think basically this has been kind of expanded up, I think, in size, because the original Commando Presents comics are kind of really more about really sort of like this kind of size. They're small square booklets, and it's strange to see this kind of artwork expanded in size, I suppose. There we go. So what we have here then essentially is is essentially, super spy does World War II. So these then, are really kind of like the first few issues, I think, of the new of the old content. And then we've got kind of the back covers here, and the front covers as the next one. So it's kind of a little bit difficult to tell which is the old, which is the new, and this is an interesting kind of image. Basically, this hatched artwork, sort of showing how kind of how Focus's eyesight is as he comes round. But it's exciting, and it's really quite large panels. I say basically sized up, I think, from the original. And here we have basically pull-out poster punching out some Nazis, some SS soldiers, and here these are more. I think the early content might have been the new stuff, because these are the original kind of covers. And then we've got a bit of an overview, basically a little bit of a look back. And I think this is, I don't know, I think this is probably the original content, I'm guessing at. Could be wrong either way. But it always is promising, 8 packs, action-packed pages. In where are we? 9 action-packed pages. I don't think it's counting down. That would be ridiculous. But what you really kind of get is, there's a lot of action within these 8 pages. There's a lot of detail, and you just kind of, you look at it, and you go, that is so much hard work. Obviously you've got the writer, and then the artist has to sit down and draw this, and then it's got to be inked and lettered and so on. A lot of work goes into just this, and it really does show. There we go. So that really does look like entertaining boys' own action stuff. You've got to take it with a little bit of pinch of salt, because it was written for young boys, as it were, teenagers and so on, who didn't want to know about the realities of war, but was used to hearing about the exciting events of the war, because it was only 30 years previously, so it was still fresh in the memory of many men and women at the time, and that would have been seen in the in the cinema and the films, and in some ways in the television series as well. You look at something like Colditz, as well as any number of war films from the period. Anyway, that is Codename Warlord, Volume 1. That is part of Thomson Comics, Heritage Comics series. I'm going to go have a look and see what else they're going to do with that. In the meantime, I do hope you enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you did, then please do click on the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be looking at more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a package typically containing a book or game or role-playing supplement, which I will unbox and chat about to the best of my extent. In this case, it's a comic books series and reprints from 5 years ago, and then 50 years ago, which I will then chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing of Nook, and we'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.